So, hello and welcome to this Summer of Calm webinar series. Thank you so much for joining me. A few weeks ago, I ran a weekend retreat at Champneys Resorts. I do mind body calm retreats there. And I just was really blown away and excited by how much people got from the teachings and techniques that I shared during the course of that weekend. And the theme at the moment inside my Calm Clan membership website is of service. We're all together exploring how we can serve and how good serving helps us feel and brings so much more happiness and joy and stuff to our life. And it's a long story. But I was thinking about how can I best serve at the same time of having just done that weekend retreat. And I thought, how about I do a weekend Mind Body Calm online retreat at a fraction of the price, so that if people do want to do it, then price isn't an issue. And so in the run up to that, so you guys can decide whether you might want to do that with me or not, I thought I'd run a few webinars to introduce you to some of the concepts that I share through my one-on-one coaching, the courses, the Calm Clan membership site, and of course the retreats. So let's get going and do that. So I'm going to share my screen with you and make that bigger, make me bigger. Okay, so that should say the Summer of Calm on it. I took this picture myself a few weeks ago when I was in Patmos in Greece, and I just felt it was just a really nice image that for me does say summer. So Summer of Calm. And in this webinar, we're going to be exploring having a holiday from your head. How to have a holiday from your head. I think you're going to find this very useful. So before I get into the topic that we're going to cover tonight, I wanted just to share briefly with you why I'm sat here today talking to you about having a holiday from your head and experiencing more calm in your life. In essence, my story is a bit one of chaos to calm. A few years ago, we're hitting about 12 years ago now, I think, roughly. I was on TV in 30 countries. Everything was fully booked. I was doing residential retreats back then, and courses and clinics. And I was in my mid-20s, but had already had a couple best-selling books out with mainstream publishers. And I was with the girl of my dreams, driving the car of my dreams, in the house of my dreams. With more money than I thought was possible, and that was a big deal, saying as I'd been in debt, my family had always had issues around money and stuff. And I woke up one day having achieved my lifetime goals, accidentally, dare I say it, and I realized something very scary, and that was I wasn't happy yet. And it was really scary because I was living what people kept telling me was a successful life, and I was fulfilling the goals which I believed would make me happy, but I still wasn't feeling very happy. And so it was around about that time that my friend said, you know, you don't look very happy. Have you tried meditation? And I was like, well, I can't meditate. And they said something that completely confused me at the time. They said, you don't have to stop your mind in order to experience peace when meditating. Now, honestly, that didn't make any sense to me, that I didn't have to stop my mind to experience peace when meditating. Nonetheless, confused but curious, I went along to attend this meditation course. And it was the most amazing couple of days. I thought, finally, after doing all these self-help personal development techniques and attending all these courses to learn about how to change my mind, I was so excited to discover, you know, something that I felt I was honestly going to use for the rest of my life. So I went home to my first solo meditation, and I think I'll tell the rest of that story later in the next webinar that I'm doing. But long story short, I really got a lot of benefit from meditating, a surprising amount of benefit, and it wasn't that much time and required to actually gain a huge return. And so I actually went off and meditated with the monks that trained me originally, and I went off for about 6 months initially. I was meditating day and night, up to 18 hours a day sometimes, really diving into meditation. And I came out at the end a meditation teacher. And since then, I've been teaching meditation around the world, and I've written a number of books on it. I think my last 4 books have been meditation based, with different perspectives and different focuses, and you know, there's new content in each of the books, but they've had a theme of meditation and stillness and peace and calm at the heart of them. You've got mind calm, body calm, calm care. And it's really lovely seeing your reasons for wanting to do this when you're filling in registration forms, and lots of people have read the books and they want to find out more. So lovely to meet you if this is our first time and you've read one of my books. I hope you get benefit from this, and thank you for getting the books and reading them. And so today we're going to talk about having a holiday from the head and how to move from that mental chaos to experiencing much more peace. I did see that come up a lot in the registration forms. You know, why do you want to do this webinar series? Peace, peace, calm, to quiet my mind, to learn to still my mind, to learn to be less stressed and all that sort of stuff. So I want to start by exploring the common benefits of calm. CALM is an acronym that stands for Conscious Awareness Life Meditation. CALM, CALM, Conscious Awareness Life Meditation. And as we move through this webinar series and into the Mind Body Calm Weekend Retreat, I think you'll really get to know what that means at a much deeper level, and hopefully be benefiting from yourself in your own life. So what sort of benefits can someone gain from this form of meditation? Well, one of them is moving from stress to serenity. You know, when we are busy thinking all the time, our body is experiencing all that thinking. We are feeling our thinking, and our body is reacting and responding to all that thinking. And it can cause a lot of stress for the body. And there just isn't enough hours during the night time to get enough hours sleep in order to release all that stress. And if we are thinking all day, we're going to be accumulating much more stress than if we can be in calm all day with stillness between our ears, as opposed to all that busyness. I promise you, you know, if you're sat at home listening to this, watching this, and you feel you struggle with your mind, I want you to know that there is hope. There is something you can do, and many people have benefited from these techniques if you just give them a go. So you can enjoy much more serenity and much less stress. Improved sleep is a very common benefit from meditation and calm. Not only do people with insomnia find it easier to get to sleep, but also you enter sleep at a deeper level if you meditate yourself to sleep at night. Most people don't think about doing that, but if you go to bed and you meditate yourself to sleep, instead of thinking yourself to sleep, but you meditate and use the calm meditation to get to sleep at night, you enter sleep at a deeper level of rest. You get a better quality of rest while you're sleeping. And I've discovered in my own life, I don't need as much sleep as I used to, because I'm getting a much better quality sleep when I do rest in the evenings, or anytime I feel like I have a little nap. Another benefit is physical healing. Now, obviously, I'm not allowed to promise any physical healing legally, but in essence, if you want to improve your health, you need to reduce your stress and you need to increase your physical rest. That is the simplest formula for helping your body to remain in a more optimum state of health and wellness. And so if you want to aid physical healing, then you can, using these techniques, you can help to reduce your stress and increase the natural state of rest that your body's hanging out in. Often people are quite tense if they're engaged thinking all the time. But if you're not doing that, your body just naturally hangs out in a much more rested state. The relaxation response is activated instead of the stress response. The parasympathetic nervous system is activated much more than the sympathetic nervous system. You're literally, instead of operating from the brain stem, you slide forward and you start operating from the frontal lobes of your brain. Back here is very fight or flight, survival focus. All your thoughts are about surviving and getting by, and right or wrong, better or worse, you with me or not, life or death. It's very black and white here. Sliding into here when we use meditation. We access bliss somewhere around here, intuition, wisdom, creativity, much more useful to hang out there. Calm and contentment makes a lot of sense when you aren't caught up thinking all the time, you're not feeling your thinking. And if you're not feeling your thinking, the natural state is to be in a state of calm. Contentment comes from letting this moment be enough exactly as it is. There's a little takeaway already from tonight. Contentment is, the formula for contentment is to let this moment be enough exactly as it is. The minute you need more than what you have right now, discontentment can creep in. And so contentment is a natural byproduct because the meditation is teaching you how to be much more present and focus on the here and now and the abundance of what's here and now, as opposed to going into your mind and looking at what's wrong or lacking or missing or whatever. Unconditional confidence is another big benefit of calm and meditation. Confidence is our natural state. Actually, confidence is, in a way, is the absence of anxiety, the absence of questioning, the absence of concern, the absence of worry. When you go beyond these habits, what's left is natural confidence. In other words, you're not thinking about whether you can or you can't do, or you're capable or not. You just get on and do it. And that's the key with naturally confident people. They aren't thinking about it. They just get on and do it. And so unconditional confidence, in other words, it's beyond reason. It's just the natural state. You get to experience much more love-based relationships. Because when you go beyond your mind, you go beyond all the judgment. And when you're no longer judging, you naturally experience much more love. And we're going to talk about more of that later in today's webinar. Again, when you're more present, more focused on the here and now, the only moment you can do anything and achieve anything, then guess what? You get to perform at your best. If you're distracted by now, from the now, you're distracted by the mind, if you're constantly caught up in your thoughts, you're not really fully here. And it's harder for you to fulfill your potential and perform at your best. So it really, if you want to perform better in sport or work or play or whatever, then this can obviously be a huge benefit from you. And like I mentioned earlier, when you're not caught up in your mind thinking about the past and future, you get to live in the present moment, which is the only moment you exist. Now is the only moment that what you really want in life exists, whether that's happiness, peace, love, joy, contentment. Now is the only moment that actually exists. And instead of living in the illusions and the imagination of the mind, you actually get to live in present moment reality, which when you do this, it literally feels like waking up. I felt when I started playing with this fully that I literally felt that I'd woken up. I'd been asleep for so many years, and it feels like waking up, and that's probably why they often mention it. So I want you to choose one of these if you're watching live, and I'd really love it if you would write the one that's most important to you in the chat box. This is an opportunity for you to get clear on what you want. That's why I'm covering this. It's not a sales pitch. It's trying to help you see and determine what it is you want to gain most from this series. So please, in the chat box, if you're watching live, please do write what you would like from that list the most. And I'm going to read a few out just so we can see. So we've got calm and contentment, unconditional confidence, performing at my best, Krista says. What would you like from that list? Stress to serenity, Caroline says, well done. Unconditional confidence, better sleep, all of them. That's kind of cheating, Laura, but I'll let you away with it this time because it's early on. Caroline, calm and contentment. Confidence, Donna. Bonnie, live in the present. Nina says unconditional confidence, living in the present moment. So you can relate to these. Jana says love-based relationships, live in the present, and hope all the rest follows. Jana says as well. Brilliant. Bev says perform at my best. Peace and release from stress, Julia says. So contented relationships. So you're kind of borrowing a bit of contentment and relationships. I like what you did there, Brad. Very good. So you've got your the thing that you want from the series, and it's really important for you to maybe take a note of what you want, because maybe when we get to webinar 2 or 3 or 4, you might be like, oh, I'm kind of busy right now or whatever. But if you can refer back to why you're doing this in the first place, you may keep the momentum, or should I say, the motivation you need to gain momentum. So keep an eye on what you really want. Sarah says, confidence. I have to present a lot for work. So yeah, exactly, Sarah. This is really important. And the technique we're going to share today is going to really help you with presentation skills, because it not only helps you be more calm and present, but also helps you to access your knowledge. You know, you'll notice I'm using the slides here, but I'm talking freely and it's coming from somewhere. And that skill that I've learned over the years is come from using the technique that I'm going to share with you later. So keep listening for that. And so keep an eye on the benefits. They might sound like it's too good to be true, but I've hopefully given a bit of a reason why they are possible if you play with calm. So let's moving on to the next part. So I want to talk about the silent solution. How do we actually get this? And this is like Calm 101 in a way. So if you've heard this before, enjoy a reminder. If you haven't, then keep listening, because I'm going to give you a whistle-stop intro to the founding principles at the heart of Calm and what I like to call the silent solution. In Mind Calm, I start the book by asking a question: how do you know you have a mind? How do you know you have a mind? And to answer that question, it's very simple. You know you have a mind because you are aware of it. You know you have a mind because you are aware of it. So what that means is, within you right now, you have a mind filled with your thoughts and your memories and your imagination and the voice in your head that sounds like you that's talking right now as I'm chatting away. You have your mind, but you have something that's aware of your mind. Mind Calm and calm in general is about becoming much more interested in and attentive to the awareness, the conscious awareness that's aware of your mind, than going to any huge lengths to try to fix, change, manage, manipulate, and control the inner workings of your mind. What you can discover with Calm is that the awareness that's aware of your mind is already at peace. You can discover that the awareness that's aware of your mind is already at peace. It's already confident. It's already present. It's already love. It's already what it is you're actually looking for. St. Francis of Assisi once said, what you're looking for is what's looking. What you're looking for is what's looking. This awareness that's aware of your mind has been referred to by different things. It's been referred to the witness, the observer, the stillness, the silence, the being, the presence, many different words from different traditions along the way. But in essence, it is the permanent aspect of you. You see, if we were to play a game and close our eyes and count our thoughts, you discover over the next 30 seconds or so that you have more than one thought. And what that means is your thoughts are temporary, but the awareness that's aware of your mind is not. The awareness that's aware of your thoughts is permanent and unchanging. The more you explore that awareness, the more you discover the awareness is still, silent, and a calm presence, always. It's never been sick, never been upset, never been stressed, never been anxious, never been sad. It's been perfectly still, silent your entire life. And so the way I like to say it is, within you right now, you have an infinite awareness. Now, why is it infinite? Why do we have the infinity symbol on the board here, on the screen here? It's because I've been, for example, meditating for a number of years. I've meditated for thousands of hours, and I still haven't found the edge of it. I haven't found the end of awareness. It seems to be limitless. There's no end to it. It really is infinite. And because it's the doorway to experiencing peace, peace appears to be infinite. Love appears to be infinite. Joy and happiness. There isn't a quota on how much you can have in this lifetime. It's not like you just top out and go, well, that's me for this lifetime. I have to wait until next time, if there is one. No, it just goes on and on and on. So that's why we use the infinity symbol. And so in order to describe this, I used an analogy, which is why on the cover of my Mind Calm book, if you have a copy, there's a lovely blue sky and a bird flying around. I want you to imagine we could all go out and find a nearby, what am I trying to say? Oops. a nearby park. So we all go out to find a nearby park, and we just sit there, and you have a simple job is just to look up at the big blue sky. Can you imagine that? Just all hanging out in a nice blue summer sky, summer's day, and we're all just looking up at this big blue sky. And because of the universal law that you feel what you focus on, naturally you feel calm and still and expansive, because that's what the sky's like, and that's what you're putting your focus on. And because you feel what you focus on, that's how you feel. And then a bird flies across your field of vision. And then upon noticing the bird, you take your attention away from the sky and you put it on the bird as it flies on by. But you don't stop there. You then start thinking about the bird. I wonder what type of bird that is. I wonder where it's coming from. I wonder why it's on its own. Has it lost its friends? And before we know it, we've stopped feeling calm and still and expansive, and now we're starting to feel concern about the bird. But here's the million-dollar question. Is the bird the cause of your concern? Is the bird the cause of your concern? Because if you walked up to someone and they looked concerned and you said, why are you concerned? They'd say, well, because the bird, it seems to have lost its friends. So it might appear like the bird's the cause of your concern, but it isn't. What's caused the concern is you've taken your attention away from the sky and you've placed it upon the movement of your mind. Not only the movement of the bird, but the movement of your mind. You've started to go into your mind and start thinking. And basically, if your thoughts have been of concern about the bird, that's how you end up feeling. You end up feeling your thinking. So what's the cause of your concern? It's no longer being attentive to the sky. Because when you're focused to the sky, then you're feeling the sky, which is still silent and peaceful. So what's this got to do with calm? Well, inside you right now, there's this big sky of still silent awareness. And within that awareness, there's birds flying around. Here's thoughts, emotions, physical sensations, sounds, your relationships, your bank balance, stuff you got to do at work, your housework or whatever. They're all birds flying around within your awareness. There's all stuff that you are aware of. Is this clear so far, guys? Can I have a yes if this is clear so far? Or a question if it's not? I am a bird at the moment. I am something that you are aware of. You're also aware of the thoughts you're having about me right now, and if they happen to be positive, you'll be enjoying this. If you're not, if they happen to be not so positive, then you might not be enjoying this as much. But do stick around, because I'm going to show you how to go beyond the thinking to experience true peace, irrespective of what's happening in your mind. And that's what's so exciting. That's why it's a silent solution. It's a silent solution because you don't need to fix, change, and improve all the birds for you to be okay. It's a silent solution, not by improving your mind, not by necessarily thinking more positively, but by going beyond the box of the thinking mind altogether. By going beyond the box of the thinking mind altogether. You see, if you remove the infinite, which is, remember, the inner ongoing presence of still silent spaciousness, when you ignore, we're not aware of that, the birds become really important. They become really relevant. They completely have to be positive for us to have a good day. If they have to be bad, we start feeling bad, and we have an emotional roller coaster and a lot of mental stress and turmoil. But when you reintroduce that awareness and you become self-aware, when you become self-aware, which is to be aware of the aspect of yourself that is aware of the aspect of yourself that is aware, the awareness. When you become self-aware, you start to experience what the awareness is like, instead of just feeling your thinking. And that is when you do that, you can get peace with your thoughts. You can get peace with your emotions. You can get peace with your physical health and your physical body. You can get peace with whatever is happening in your external world. In short, whatever you are aware of, you can get peace with it, as long as you are self-aware at any given moment in time. Listen to what we're saying right now, guys. There's freedom and liberation at the heart of what I'm sharing with you right now. And I hope it's making sense, and I hope something inside you goes, yeah, this could work. Because I could come on here and say, right, you've got to improve all the birds, and you can't be happy until you've improved all the birds. You have to improve your thoughts, perfect your emotions, only have positive emotions, have a perfect body that has no ill health or flaws as far as your mind is concerned, and make sure your relationships and your career and your money, let's master all that and make it all perfect so you can eventually be happy. That's what we could be saying. But I'm saying, be self-aware. Engage being consciously aware in life through open and closed eye meditation. And what you discover is the birds take care of themselves. They naturally improve if you stop interfering with them and trying to force your will upon them. When you get more at peace with them, then space appears around them, and new things are able to come into your life in the most beautiful and graceful way. Marie Higgins says, love this. I'm glad that you like that. Thank you for the kind feedback, Marie. Very kind of you to say. So in order to really communicate with you what, in order to have a holiday from your head, you know, not forgotten the theme of today. We are talking about having a holiday from your head, because when you become self-aware, you automatically disengage the thinking mind, and you are no longer so caught up in having such a busy, in your busy mind, and you're resting in the still, silent presence of your awareness. So how do we do that? Well, I promise you in a few minutes, I'm going to share with you a technique in order to quieten your mind and also guide you through a short meditation to finish off the first webinar called on this holiday, having a holiday from your head. So you'll have a holiday from your head in a few moments. But before we do that, I want to share with you the hidden causes of a busy mind. I want to share with you why we end up with such a busy mind in the first place, so that you need to have a holiday from it. And this is so important, because if you don't recognize these habits, the reasons why we've got such a busy mind, the reason why we feel so compelled to think all the time, then you won't know when to use what I'm going to share with you later. Okay, so it's really important that we cover this before moving on to share the technique. Trust me, I've taught this hundreds of times, literally, and this is the best way of communicating with you, so you really get the value of what's on offer here, and also know when to use it in daily life. So let me move on to talk about the hidden causes of a busy mind. And the first one is what I like to call the judgment game. The judgment game is happening right now. In your mind's desire to make sense of reality, it's currently deciding and judging whether what is happening or happened in the past or might happen later, but literally this moment as an example, is constantly deciding whether what's happening right now is good or bad, right or wrong, better or worse, positive or negative. And if I remember correctly, I think I put this into a little diagram for you. So an event's happening. I'm an event for you right now, for example, and the mind is taking in the raw data, it's attaching meaning to it, and based upon the meaning it attaches to it, it then decides whether what's happening is good or bad, right or wrong, better or worse, positive or negative. Now, if we end up judging something as good, right, better, and positive, then we have a good moment, not much to think about. But if we end up on the bad, wrong, worse, or negative side of things, we quickly end up with what's commonly called a problem. Now, what do you do when you have a problem or the mind decides something's a problem? Well, you tend to do one of three things. First thing you tend to do is the mind jumps into problem solver mode, and it starts trying to figure out how to solve this issue that the mind is just judged to be a problematic for you. We feel compelled to engage in all that problem-solving thinking so we can solve this thing, so we can fix this problem and be better once again later on. If that's not our tendency, we can sometimes drop into the poor me. The poor me is where we start thinking to ourselves, oh, this is so unfair, why is this happening to me? Life is so hard, other people have an easier life, it's okay for them, but I'm having this tricky time or whatever. And so we can play the poor me. Or we start playing the positive guru. And so we start trying to think positively about it, and we start trying to recall what that guru said, or what that book said, or what that course said, or whatever. And we start trying to coach yourself and say, you know, oh, well, all things happen for a reason, and it just have to be present. And so we kind of coach ourselves, but we're still thinking about being present. We're not actually being present. We're just thinking about it, or we're thinking about concepts. Remember, what's offered here is going beyond the limiting mind to the silent solution that resides beyond the confines of your mind. So that's one of the judgment game causes us to think so much because or makes us feel compelled to think, because if we end up on the bad, wrong, worse, or negative side of things, we end up with a problem and we feel compelled to start thinking about it. Is that clear so far, guys? Thanks, Krista, for saying that you love this too. That's great. Thank you so much for the feedback there. Does that make sense? Can you see yourself maybe doing the judgment game at the moment? And I'm not saying it's good or bad or right or wrong. It's just, it's how you might make sense of reality. And what I want you to know is you're not aiming with meditation to stop judging and never judge again. You need to start to see the judgment, not be the judge. Okay, so you need to start seeing the judgment, not being the judge, and you will find that the judgment loses its power. If you are being the judge, then it's going to have a much bigger impact on you than if you can see the judgment, not be the judge. Okay? Really makes sense. Wow, Kate says, Jane says, love that. Great, thanks for the feedback, guys. So that's hidden reason number one. Hidden reason number two is what I call the resist, persist. What's that mean? Well, if we judge something as good, we tend to allow it because it's good, it's right, it's better, it's positive, so we allow it. However, if we judge something out of habit and conditioning as bad and a problem, the common response is to want to push it away and resist it because it's bad, it's wrong, it's worse, it's negative, I don't want this, it's a problem. When we engage the resistance, we create constriction and restriction and mess with the inner energy in our body. And what tends to happen is we feel what's commonly described as a negative emotion. Anger, sadness, fear, guilt, hurt, grief, anxiety, remorse, shame, or whatever, we tend to find ourselves feeling that. So when you, to recap, when you judge something negatively and you resist it, that's what creates the energy that the mind observes as negative. Sorry, the mind labels as negative. So what's resistance and the resist persist got to do with excessive thinking and having a really busy mind? Well, when you do notice you're feeling bad, normally you won't have been aware of the judgment or the resistance, but you'll be aware of the symptoms of it, which is you start feeling bad. And when you notice yourself feeling bad, the mind becomes active. And it becomes active by asking and answering a couple questions. Are we still here? My system just went a bit weird. Can you let me know if I'm still here? Yes, great. So, don't know what happened there, but we seem to be all here. Thank you for staying with me. When we judge something and resist it, the mind, and become aware of the emotion, the mind asks two questions. It says, what am I feeling and why am I feeling this way? When it asks the first question, it attaches a label to it, like anger or sadness or anxiety or whatever. And then it goes, why am I feeling this way? And it has an amazing ability to come up with a legitimate, logical reason for any emotion you discover happening inside your body or whatever. Our mind becomes very active. We ask these questions, but not only that, we want to start thinking about how can I feel better again? And we start trying to figure out what needs to be fixed, changed, and improved so that this emotion can go away. There's a lot of thinking, and if you go beyond the judgment game and the resist persist, you'll find this habit naturally falls away, and you don't have this emotional roller coaster every day because you're hanging out in awareness and self-awareness, which is an amazing thing to do. Third reason for having a busy mind is what I call the attach catch. Attach catch is essentially attachment. Attachment happens when you don't just want something, but you believe you need it in order to be happy, successful, loved, safe, or whatever. It's when desire moves to desperation, love turns to fear, and want turns to need. Now, if you believe you need something in order to be happy, safe, peaceful, or whatever, then you're going to feel compelled to think a lot about how you can get, create, or do what you think you need to get, create, or do. Okay? So when it turns into need, then you're going to feel compelled to think a lot about how you can get what you think you need. But here's the thing. When you start exploring calm, you're going to discover that the peace, love, joy, security, and all the rest of it that you want already exists within you, and it exists right here, right now. And you don't need the future to try to get it eventually, but you can actually access it right now. and attachment falls away, and you no longer need to think so much about all the things you think you need in order to be happy. So if you catch yourself saying things like, I can't be happy until, I'll be able to relax when, or anything that's postponing your peace, catch yourself in that, because there's an attachment in there, and you want to bring yourself back to the present moment awareness with calm, and because that is your way to discover it, not later, but to experience it now. Okay? And finally, the fourth hidden cause of a busy mind is the time trap. The time trap is where, you'd think it's just thinking about the past and future, and that's why we have a busy mind, but that's a symptom of the time trap, thinking about the past and future. The time trap is more subtle than that. Are you ready to hear it? The time trap is the belief that the past and future is relevant to you experiencing happiness, peace, love, joy, contentment, freedom, or whatever it is that you might want in life. It's the belief that I can't be happy now, or can't be at peace now because of what she said earlier, what he did last week, what happened to me a month ago, what happened to me as a child. It's the belief that you can't be at peace now because of what happened in the past, or you can't be at peace or be happy or whatever because of what might happen later. It's the belief that the past and future is relevant. As long as you believe the past and future is relevant to how you feel right now, you'll feel forever compelled to think about the past and future, to either resolve stuff in the past or to figure out how you can make your future exactly how you think you need it to be for you to be okay. This is epic stuff, guys. There's big lessons at the heart of what I'm sharing with you right now. I hope you can feel that and you're taking stuff from this webinar right now. What's time trap got to do with overthinking? Like I said, as long as you believe the past and future is relevant, you're going to entertain and engage with any thought that comes through your awareness about the past and future. If the mind says, oh, I'm feeling bad and I can't, or I wish that hadn't happened when I was 5 or 15 or whatever, if it's about the past, or, well, what might happen if you believe the past and future is relevant, then you're going to feel compelled to think a lot about it. But when you discover that it's not relevant, and actually the best place for you to be is right here, right now, because now is the only time you exist. Now is the only time your heart's greatest desire exists, and now is the only time reality exists, then naturally the time trap falls away. And you don't have to be engaged in this core hidden cause of a busy mind. So there you go, guys. There's 4 hidden causes of a busy mind. And what do you do with this? Well, first of all, notice it when it's happening next time. Because if you don't notice this, you're going to believe everything your mind tells you. You're going to take life very seriously, and you're going to find yourself continuing to think a lot and get really stressed about stuff. But if you can recognize that I'm feeling bad right now, not because of what's happening in my life, but because I must have, at some point, without realizing, judged something negatively and started resisting it, for example, then suddenly it's no longer life making you feel this way, but actually you can discover that actually it's something that happened within you. And if it's happening within you, then you can do something about it to bring about a better change. If you believe a better state and more peace and happiness, for example, if you believe that the external world is the cause of your inner stress and turmoil, and then you're forever a victim to what's happening in your life. But it's very empowering to recognize actually what's happening inside me, what's happening in my side of the fence, I can actually do something about. And what I'm inviting you to do with calm is when you realize you're caught up in the judgment game or the resist persist or the attach catch or the time trap, simply come back to now by being consciously aware in life with open or closed eye meditation. Open or closed eye meditation. Got a great question just come in from Stephanie. She says, if I don't focus on the problems that occur in my life, then who will come up with the solutions needed to resolve the issues? Very good question. And there's multiple answers to that. I hope you're open-minded to hearing them all. First of all, I'm talking about not experiencing your life as one problem after the next. Tricky, difficult things might happen, but if you're not caught up in the judgment game and the resist persist, you're going to be in a much better state of mind and body in order to be able to respond in a proactive, peaceful, and positive way to whatever is occurring in your life. So nothing about what I'm saying right now is about becoming passive or not doing anything. It's about your inner experience and relationship with whatever occurs in your life. Life is going to continue to happen on a spectrum of possibilities. But the difference is you won't experience it as a problem. You will live with an ongoing inner state of perfection and peace as you engage life in all its weird and wonderful ways. So, for example, as I was running a Facebook Live today, and it was a Facebook page for Hay House publishers who have 700,000 people and they're following their page, and I was doing this thing and the internet kept dropping out. Because I wasn't entertaining the judgments and I wasn't in resistance, there was still joy within me despite having to deal with stuff happening on the outside, and I did whatever I could to improve things. And so that is the key. I'm not saying you become passive. You actually become more active, but less reactive. The second thing is, when you're not caught up in stress, in problematic thinking, in negative judgmental thinking or whatever, then you're actually able to access better solutions. You'll find that the solution comes from the inner silence, the inner space, the inner stillness, the inner calm. Spontaneously, you'll know the right thing to do, and it'll be the most wise and compassionate thing to do. You're quiet enough inside to hear your intuition and wisdom. Whereas if we're caught up thinking and figuring everything out in the past and future and all that sort of stuff, it's harder, much harder for us to actually access our inner wisdom, hear our inner intuition, and know what the right thing to do is. Does that answer your question so far to a certain extent, Stephanie? If you don't focus on the problems, how will I solve them? Yes, somewhat. Well, I'm glad you're somewhat satisfied by that. If you have a more specific question relating to that, I'd love to give you some guidance on it. But I've given you 2 solutions so far as to why you don't have to think about stuff so much in order to actually be able to peacefully coexist and be very proactive dealing with whatever shows up in your life. Serenity Smiles says, do you have advice dealing with procrastination and resistance? Yes, procrastination is unseen thinking. Procrastination is unseen thinking, and it's being a victim to our thoughts that are telling us to do it later. Procrastination buys into the belief that there is a later. There isn't a later. There is only now. And if you have something rising up, if you have a desire rising up, if you're not got the mind distorting and blocking that natural desire, you will follow through on that natural desire. And so that, again, it's a benefit of not being caught up in living your life from thinking all the time, but living your life from stillness and calm. Because what you'll find is that if desires do rise up, you'll just naturally move towards them, and there won't be procrastination. It's a thinking pattern that you can go beyond by using what I'm sharing with you now. Hopefully that gives you some help with procrastination. And when it comes to resistance, I'm going to cover that in a later webinar. Actually, I want to give resistance so much more airtime. So please do tune into the rest of the series. I promise to cover resistance later. And Sarah has responded, makes sense actually, thank you. So you're welcome. I'm glad that you got an answer that makes sense for you. Okay, guys. So I don't know. Remember what the next slide is? I think it is the mind calm meditation. So I wanted to make sure that you had a chance to meditate with me today and have a holiday from your head. How does that sound? Can I guide you through a quick mind calm meditation? So calm meditation is made up of 3 steps. First step is to engage a technique called Gawo. Then think a calm thought, and then re-engage Gawo. Okay. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to guide you through it in a moment. And it's not been thinking, it's been thinking. So repeat the steps when you notice you've been thinking. I apologize for that little typo on the page there. Or if Ben's been thinking, you can do it. You can repeat the steps as well if you know someone called Ben who happens to be thinking as well. But so the 3 steps mind calm meditation are engage Gawo, think a calm thought, and engage Gawo. So what's that? Well, Gawo is an acronym, and someone earlier said they love an acronym, so I'm glad you do. It stands for gently alert, attention wide open. Gently alert, attention wide open. So as you're looking ahead at the screen right now, I invite you to continue to focus ahead with me, but let your gaze open up wider to notice what's also on the left and the right. Now, don't look to the left and right. Gaze ahead while simultaneously noticing on what's on the left and right without moving your eyes. Gently alert, attention wide open. Now notice below and above. Again, don't look down, don't look up. Gaze ahead, but notice what's below, notice what's above. I can notice my hands on the table and my bottle of water. Above, I can see lights on the ceiling and so on and so forth. I'm not looking at them, I'm noticing them while still maintaining my gaze ahead. Be gently alert right now with your attention wide open, left and right, up and down. And without thinking about it or planning to do it later, just be gently alert right now with your attention wide open to the left and right, up and down. You're allowed to blink and you're also allowed to breathe, okay? So just relax, reduce the effort, but continue to be gently alert with this wide open gaze, left and right, up and down. And as you continue to be gently alert with your attention wide open, notice what's happening between your ears. As you're engaging, noticing left and right, up and down, notice if your mind is chaotically busy and stressed right now, or if it is quietened down. Gently alert. Aware attention wide open, left and right, up and down. Continue to play with me just right now with this forward and wide gaze. Just noticing all that your eyes are already seeing. Gently alert, attention wide open. As you do that, always notice that for the last few moments, you haven't been thinking about what happened earlier or what might happen later. You've just been right here, right now, if you've been engaging Gawo as I'm instructing you to do so. Gently alert, attention wide open. Continuing to do that, I invite you to share with me a couple words, a word or two that describes what your inner experience is like right now, as you continue to be gently alert. Don't stop doing it to think about it. Have it engaged, note it, get a word for describing it, and then type it into the box so that we can see how people what the inner experience is like as they engage it. So let me see what answers are coming in. Jane says calm. Deirdre says still. Shondell says calm. Sarah says still. Laura says peaceful. Donna says peaceful and quiet. Smiley face from Sarah. Calm, says Caroline. Susan says calm. Moving inward, Carrie says. Still, devoid of thoughts, Jane says. Quiet. Peace, Tanya says. Continue to be gently alert with your attention wide open. Don't compare your experience to other people that may have shared a word. Just right now, without thinking about it or planning to do it later, with just very innocently like a child, just be gently alert with your attention wide open, really engage that, and make this moment more important than your mind and what your thoughts might be about it. Just be fully here and now with me through this simple exercise of being gently alert with your attention wide open. Very good. That's quite a 100% record from everyone that's shared something so far of a positive impact from this very simple Gawo technique. Gawo is the first step of open and closed eye mind calm. I'm going to share with you how to do the closed eye when I guide you through it. But for now, I want to move on to the next step. The next step of mind calm meditation is to think one of the calm thoughts. There's 10 calm thoughts. They're shared in the Mind Calm book, and they're all listed in the Calm Clan and so forth. The one we're going to play with tonight during this webinar is Om Peace. It's a pretty obvious one to play with for having a holiday from our head. We're going to play with Om Peace, maybe a couple others with our eyes closed. But just for now, with our eyes open, I want you to know that the calm thought we're going to play with is Om Peace. And every calm thought has its own focus point, and the focus point for this calm thought is in your solar plexus, which is between your heart center and your navel, kind of in there, middle of there. Between these 2 points, you'll find your solar plexus, roughly. Okay. And so here's how it works. I want you to engage with me, being gently alert with your attention wide open. Just hold for a few moments. And then moving your focus to your solar plexus. And with your focus in your solar plexus, think the words Om, peace. Having thought it, just let go of the words and focus point and continue by being gently alert with your attention wide open. And that's as simple as that. What we call that is a calm moment. Or if you want to call it in the theme of today, having a brief holiday from your head, a vacation from your mind. Um, engage Gawo, hold it for a moment, think a calm thought, and then re-engage Gawo and get on with your day. So the open-eyed mind calm practice is what we call it having calm moments. Okay. And how did you get on with that? Was that okay? Jane says, I need that holiday today. That's great. Even better than the beach, Kate says. Awesome. Yeah, I'm in this rather glary, lighty lit office right now, so I thought I'd bring my shades with me. Does this work any better? Seeing as it's the summer of calm and the holiday from the head. Um, I'm in Edinburgh right now, so there's no beaches near here really worth going to. So I thought I'd bring my shades along just to kind of bring some summer calm to it. Maren says, cool shades. Thanks. So that's how you have an open-eyed uh, mind calm meditation. Now I would like to guide you through a closed eye calm sitting. We're only going to spend about 5 minutes doing this. Okay, so make yourself comfortable and just follow the instructions. So just close your eyes, but maintain your gaze ahead. You see, most of the time people close their eyes to fall asleep. That's kind of the habit. But you're closing your eyes to wake up to the present moment, to wake up to stillness, to wake up to calm, to wake up to freedom, to wake up to the present moment awareness. So when you close your eyes with calm, I want you to maintain your gaze forward and ahead. Let your muscles in your forehead, around your eyes, and your face be soft and relaxed as you're gently alert with this forward gaze. And if it feels comfortable, without having to use your imagination or anything, just let your gaze open up wider. I know your eyes are closed and you can't see anything necessarily, but just let your gaze open up wider so you have the intention to gaze ahead with a forward and wide gaze. And just hang out for a few moments being gently alert. Now, with your focus in your solar plexus, think Om, peace. By thinking that, you're not trying to feel peaceful or push any emotions away. You can be at peace with however you want to feel, whatever emotions are there, by being gently alert now, with your attention wide open, and just hanging out for a little while, being gently alert. Maybe you started off thinking about other things. That's all right. Now that you realize, I invite you to bring your focus to being gently alert, your attention wide open for a few moments. Then with your focus in your forehead center, the center of your forehead, think Om clarity. Before continuing a while longer by being gently alert with this forward and wide gaze. Maybe you start thinking about other things. That's okay. It's just a habit. But now that you realize, be gently alert with this forward and wide gaze. Hold for a few moments. And then with your focus within your entire body, focusing within your entire body, think Om presence. Having thought, the calm thought, let go of the words and focus point by one last time being gently alert with your attention wide open. Very good. It's time to bring this little calm sitting taster to a close. To come back to being fully awake and aware, simply open your eyes. Very good. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. So there's the 3 steps for having a calm sitting, your closed eye practice. And I share with you just 3 of the 10 calm thoughts. Then we used Om peace, focus in solar plexus, Om clarity, focus in the forward center, and then finally Om presence, where you focus in the entire body. I hope you enjoyed that. And thank you for playing with that. Now, if you want to really make the most of this calm series and you're watching them with a few days in between, then I invite you to go to my website, Sandy Newbigging. Click on the free section, click on meditation. I think it's quicker just go to sandynewbigging.com/meditation if you want. And in there, you'll find the 13-minute guided mind calm sitting. So you can practice this once or twice a day for the next few days until the next video. If you want to make the most of this series and you're genuinely serious about benefiting and making changes in your life. So I invite you to pop onto my website a couple times a day and be guided through the full mind calm sitting, and do open-eyed calm moments with your favorite calm thought throughout your day. So remember, an open-eyed calm practice is simply to be gently alert with your attention wide open for a few moments. Think one of the calm thoughts, for example, clarity. You focus in your forward center, and then having thought that, re-engage Gawo and get on with your day till you next remember to do so. If you do these two things, the closed eye practice a couple times a day and the open eye practice anytime you remember, you'll be amazed at how quickly the transformations start to happen in your inner world, and how your external world reflects that in such positive ways. So we've got, that was a wonderful peace-filled and full. Thank you, Marion says. Marion says, amazingly peaceful. You have tough opposition here tonight, Scottish power digging up the street outside. Thanks very much, Sandy. That's great, Marie. And nice to see you in Scotland too. Thank you, Sandy. That was wonderfully restorative. Great. Sarah says thank you. Sheena says thank you. Julie says thank you. I've learned a lot. Well, talking of learning a lot, allow me to briefly mention and remind you to sign up for the Mind Body Calm online retreat. We're going to have a whole weekend together exploring things like this and so much more. It's happening on the 19th and 20th of August 2017. Over that weekend, I would treat it like a retreat, but you just happen to be at home, so dedicate the weekend to it, or at least the daytime anyway, to 6 live broadcasts, and the times are on the website. It's £108, which is like 80% cheaper than the residential retreats, so it's a great opportunity to have a weekend with me doing a Mind Body Calm online retreat that's reflecting very similar content to what we'll cover in the retreat. Obviously, you can go to a retreat and you can afford it, then do it, because it's an amazing experience to do it in person and at the resorts of Champneys. But to do that, go to sannydnewbigging.com/calm online retreat. Okay, calm online retreat, and you will find all the details you need. So there you go. We've got the Summer of Calm, and that is the first one from tonight. Hopefully I can stop sharing my screen for a moment and come back to full. There you go, and it's still recording. Fantastic. So there you go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this webinar, and you've got a lot from today. We started by talking about my story, from chaos to calm, then shared the benefits of calm, and you noticed ones that you related to and you wanted to have in your life, and I've encouraged you to really make that a priority for yourself. I talked about the silent solution and how within you have this still silent presence of awareness. It's always present, it's always well, it's always free, and it's beyond the limitations and problems of the thinking mind can create. I talked about the 4 hidden causes of a busy mind: the judgment game, the resist persist, the attach catch, and the time trap. And then we went on to explore and experience Gawo, which means to be gently alert with your attention wide open, and also the calm thoughts. And I've invited you between now and the next time, watching the next video, to come to my website, sannydnewbigging.com/meditation, play the 13-minute complete mind calm sitting there, the track there. You can play and listen to it, and do the closed eye practice a couple times a day, and also do the open-eyed calm moments anytime you remember. So we've got, thank you, Sandy. That was very interesting and enlightening. Listening to your webinars helped my understanding of the process even more. I especially liked your words about going beyond the box of the mind and your meditations. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Krista. Deirdre says, thanks for this evening. Really enjoyed it. That's great. Bonnie says, great job. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you. It was so good. Caroline says, very soothing and surprising to feel such a sense of opening and expansion so quickly. That's great, Kate. I'll be trying that again. Great webinar. You're very welcome. Serenity Smile says, thank you so much for offering these webinars. You're very welcome. Thank you, Sandy. And also, Marion says, super share of calm. Thank you, Sandy, and thanks to Stephanie for your question. Well, there you go, guys. Lots of love to you. Have a wonderful time. Tune in next time for Can't Meditate, Won't Meditate. So we'll be talking all about the myths of meditation and all the reasons why people find it hard to meditate and how to make it easy for yourself. A lot of people who registered for this were saying that they want to be able to commit to regular practice. They want to get back on the bandwagon. They want to understand what stops them, and they want to get beyond the blocks that prevents them from doing what they know is good for them. So that's what the next one's about, and so much more. And if you want to watch the replays, you're able to find them on the same page where you signed up. Okay? Thank you very much, guys. And until we next speak, I wish you infinite peace and limitless love. Bye for now.